Hey, so someone asked me a very good question yesterday. I posted a video about weight loss and some techniques to use. And I use the term releasing fat instead of losing weight. And I use that kind of specifically. And they said, well, what are the benefits or what's the significance of what we call releasing fat? And one of the best ways that I have found to kind of check your overall health, and I'll explain why in a second, but is to measure your waistline. So measure your waistline and do it at your belly button, not down where you might wear your pants lower than that, but measure your waist at your belly button. And if it is 1/2 of your height or less, you're probably in very good shape as far as cholesterol and blood sugar issues and things like that. Again, I'll explain in a minute. But like I'm 5'7". Okay, so 7.5, but yeah. Okay, so let's say 5'7". So that's 67 inches. So my waist at my belly button needs to be half of that. Okay, so that'd be 33.5. So if my waist at my belly button is 33.5, that's great. Now, men tend to cheat. They'll say, well, but I wear a 32, but you're wearing it down on your hips. It's way below your belly. That doesn't count. So you have to measure it at your belly button level. Okay. And the reason for that is as your blood sugar is getting out of whack and you're becoming more insulin resistant or more resistant to your own insulin. They call it syndrome X sometimes. But the bottom line is as you're becoming more resistant to insulin and you're pumping out more insulin and then corresponding levels of glucagon and you're going back and forth, what ends up happening is your body will store extra fat, and it's a very particular type of fat that is actually between the organs in your abdomen. Okay, so like if you have like a little bit of love handles, that is not as dangerous. But when you'll see a lot of men in particular, where their abdomen is it's almost hard, right? So they're getting bigger and bigger. We call it a beer belly or a carbohydrate belly, right? But it's almost hard. Well, what that is, that's an indicator that they're forming fat between the organs, which is actually the more dangerous type. It's also a very strong indicator that you probably have a lot of insulin resistance. Now, insulin resistance taken out 20 years becomes, or sometimes shorter, unfortunately, can become type 2 diabetes. So we want to be careful with that. So when we're losing weight through managing blood sugar, which is what I recommend, if you lose weight through managing blood sugar, you are reversing that process. You're making your body less insulin resistant, and that fat gets burned and goes away. So your abdomen will shrink. So if you can get down to the point where, again, your waist size at your belly button is less than half your height or equal to half your height, then most likely and I'm not a doctor, I'm not saying don't go get a physical and don't check things, but most likely your blood sugar, your cholesterol, your blood pressure are going to be in a much, much better state than if your abdomen was larger. So that's why they're releasing fat. You're really releasing fat is just an indicator that your blood sugar control is better. And that's an indicator of your overall health and a lot of other things. So anyway, I hope that helps clarify why I call it releasing fat and not just weight loss. Thanks, guys.